Thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on my Color Wednesday blog post for August 24th, 2016. We're going to be using this cute Saturated Canary image called Pigtails. And if you would like to purchase this image, I will put a link down in the description box to that so you can head over and grab one up. But you want to grab one before August 31st because Krista will be closing her store and there will be no more digital images available. So if you want it, head over there and grab it up right away. So I have printed my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar Bright cardstock, so let's color. So let's give our girl a quick outline. For that, I'm going to use C0. And let's just start right here in the middle. And I like to do this first so that in case I get some on my girl, I can erase it. And I don't have to worry about brushing into other colors and making them bleed into the background. And this seems a lot darker than it will be when it dries. So it'll be just a little bit on there to give her a little bit of shading to look like she's popping up off of the paper. A little bit in between some of those curls there. And she's got a little space right here between her dress. And we'll work our way back down to the other side. And again, here's a little spot between her dress and her hair. And back down to the bottom of her shoe. Let's move on to her skin. For that, I'm going to use E11, 21, and 00. And for her cheeks, I'm going to use E93. Let's start down here on her leg. So I'm going to start with my E11. And I'm going to brush along this side. Bring it a little bit out here on her sock. And then for this side over here, we're going to brush away from the inside. And then we're going to fill in this side with our E21. Over here, let's brush this out. And then I'm going to fill that the rest of the way in with my E00. And I like to go clear across the entire thing. And even though I colored this side in, I'm going to do that side too, just to smush those colors together a little bit more. So let's hop up here next. We'll do her arm. So again, just grab your E11. And let's do this arm on the outside first. So I'm going to go underneath of her dress and then do a small line down the inside of her arm. And then we're going to do this side, same thing, down the inside of her arm and along her sleeve. Then we're going to add E21. And then we're going to fill them in with our E00. So for her neck, let's again do our E11. And I'm going to do it over here on this side. And then I'm going to add some E21. Then let's grab E11 again and we'll do underneath of her bangs. So let's go, I'm going to do a little bit on her ear too. So let's do a little dab here on this ear and this side so I don't forget. And then I'm going to go right along her bangs or her hair. She's got a little bit of space in there in between her hair, so I'm trying to brush into that. And then bring this side down to her ear. Then I'm going to grab E21 and let's add a little dab to her ears. And then we want to brush away from her forehead. And then I want to bring this color around the bottom of her face. And then let's grab E00. just going to brush a little bit on the edge. I'm not going to fill it all the way in because I want to do some cheek color and then brush over it again. And let's grab E93. And we're just going to brush that along the sides here for her cheeks. And then I'm going to grab my E00, and we're going to soften that. Let's do our neck too before I forget. And we're just going to brush over the cheeks and back over her face. And then I'm going to grab my E93 again and just brighten these up just a little bit more. And then once again over those with our E00. For her eyes, let's use B06 and B02, and for lips, I'm going to use R39 and R35. So I'm going to start with my B06 on her eyes. I want to do just a little dab up here on the inside corner of this one, and then on the outside corner of this side. And then we're going to fill the rest in, except for that little circle in the middle, with B02. A little bit of a line right here. Let's go with that just a little bit more. And then for our lips, we're going to do R39. So I'm going to do a little dab with that. I'm just going to very quickly tap my pen down in the corners of her lips. I don't want it to run out too much. And then we'll fill it in with our R35. Let's use E59, 55, and 50 on her hair. And I'm going to start with my E59, and let's do this little swirl down here first. So I'm going to do a little dab of that. Swirl. Let's bring it around. That. And let's work up here on her braid. So I'm just going to give each little section of braid a little dab of color. And then let's do up here. And then I also want to go away from her part. And let's do a little bit of these bangs. Okay, and let's hop down here and do this little curly cue. And then a little slash of color on each of the braids. And then we'll go up from her ear. And then down from her part. Let me turn her this way so I can see a little bit better. I'm going to bring some of these lines up just a little bit more. Like that. And then let's go with E55. So we're going to add a little dab of that down here on this little swirl. And then a little dab to each of her braids. And then up here at the top. And then let's get this swirl over here. then this side of her hair. Then we're going to fill it in with our E50. I'm just going to brush over the entire thing. And then this side too. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more of my E59 in. So let's start down here on this braid. And let's get this swirl. And then a little bit up here at the top. For the apron and her socks, we're going to use N2, 0, and the colorless blender. So let's grab our N2, and let's do these socks first. So I'm going to go down here, let's start on this side. Got a little dab over here. And then in here, let's do down the side of her foot and then under this little space. And then on this side, let's do again up here at the top. And we're going to bring this in. Under her sock on this side. And then down the side of her shoe and over her bow a little bit. Then I'm going to add N0. And I just want to go over the top of that last color and soften it just a little bit. I'm not trying to color the whole sock in. I want to just soften that edge and leave the rest white. And then we'll take our colorless blender and we're going to go right through the whole thing right in the middle. And it'll look dark when you just put it on there, but after it dries, you won't see that big wet spot in the middle anymore. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and see if we need to blend that a little bit more. Let's go up here, and we're going to do her apron, so grab your N2. I'm going to do a little bit on the tie right here. And then she's got a little waistband, and then there's some lines. I'm going to color those in. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to go up these lines. And there's one more right here. Then we're going to add N0. So again, we just want to soften the edge. And then we'll grab our colorless blender and soften that up. And we're going to be careful right in here. We don't want to brush her arm. And on this side. And then down here on our socks, I think those are looking pretty good, so we're going to leave it like that. For the cute little dog's basket, we're going to use E57, 25, and 13. I'm going to start with my E57. Now let's do a little dab up here next to her hand. And on this side. I'm going to come down here and add a little dab right next to the little puppy's ear. And then let's do this. We're going to come around here a little bit. Same for this side. And do I want to do it a little bit right in here maybe? Right like that. And then I want to do just along each of these lines. So I'm going to do a quick little slash right on the line. And I'm trying not to make it too wide. So I'm being kind of quick. And then let's go across with these lines. And then a little bit underneath the basket rim. And then I'm going to add E25. So let's add some to the handle up here. And I'm going to do inside the basket too. That. And then down here, we're just going to add a little bit more to each of these lines. So we're just widening them out. And then I want to fill the rest in with my E13. This side. For the puppy dog, we're going to use W9, 6, 3, and 1. We're going to start with our W9. Let's do this little ear on this side first. So I'm just going to do a little dab along the edge. And if you don't use your W9 very much, it's pretty dark. It might be really full. So pop the end off the other side so that it can pressurize and hopefully not make a big blob on your paper. Because mine seems, I don't use it very much, so it seems very wet. And then we're going to do a little bit down here on his nose. Then we're going to grab W6. Let's do this little ear over here first. And then we'll add a little bit to this cute little ear. And then a little dab to his nose. Then we'll fill in the rest of his ears with W3. And his nose. Let me turn it this way a little bit. But I want to leave a little white spot at the top. So I'm not going to fill it all the way in. And I think those ears need a little bit more color. So let's grab W9 again. And then W6. And then W3. I like that better. Okay, now we're going to go with W1 for his body. So let's do his little paws. I'm going to go along the bottom and just give him a little slash of color on each of the little paw things here. Let's do a little bit over here on his body. And then for his face, I'm going to go around the outside. that, and then let's go around his nose. And then I'm going to go a little color right here in the center of his face. And then if you want, if you think that's not shadowed or not soft enough, take your colorless blender and just lightly go over the edges. Let's do the reds next. For that, we're going to use E19, R29, 24, 05, and 22. I'm going to do the napkin on the little puppy's basket first. So I'm going to do R29, and I'm going to just pick some squares. So let's pick this square underneath of his paw first. And I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm going to skip one and fill that one in. And then this one, because this one's white, I'm going to make this one red. And then same thing over here. You want to make this one red. And then there's a little dot right here by his paw that's showing. And then we'll skip one, make this one red, and then the bottom one. And then I just left the other squares white. So for our dress, we're going to start with E19. Let's do her top of her dress first. So I'm going to go right along the edge, along this sleeve. And then right along her apron and along this sleeve. And this one will go along the cuff of her shirt. And then I'm going to do each of these lines. And then I want to go over those lines with the R29. I'm going to go right over the top of those, and I'm going to make them just a little bit whiter. And then we'll add R24. And R05. And then we'll fill in the rest with our R22. And I'm going to do the cuffs of her dress too, of her sleeves. Okay, so let's do her skirt of her dress. So again, grab your E19, and I'm going to do a line right next to her apron. This, and then I'm going to bring this color down just a little bit more like this. And then over here by the puppy dog, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's go away from the puppy dog. That, and he's got a little bit of dress showing over here above this ear, so let's give that a little swish. And we're going to take R29, and we want to fill that over the top of your E19. So we're going to go right back over the top. I always try to do the red last because I tend to get it everywhere. And then we'll do this little pocket up here. And we're going to grab R24. I'm going to fill in this side. And then R05. And then R22. Turn it a little bit here. And I forgot to do this little section right here, so let me grab, what was it, N2. So I'm going to make this underskirt have the gray on there. So let's do N2 along here. Is that what I use? Yes. Okay, go right along like this. And then I'm going to go down this little seam right here. Whoops. And then I'm going to soften that with my N0. And then again, we'll soften all of that with our colorless blender. That'll take care of that section. Then we're going to go down here and we're going to do her skirt. So I'm going to go with, or this under section right here, I'm going to start with R24. I'm going to do a little bit right next to the edge of that top skirt. And then R05. And then we'll fill it in with our R22. Let me turn her around here so I don't try not to color outside the line here. That. Then let's go down here and we'll do her shoes. So let's start with our E19. I'm going to put this on the back of the shoe. And then I'm going to brush it this way a little bit. And then I want to do a little bit where the bow is on right by the shoe. So let's do a little dab right in here. And then for this shoe, let's again do the back. I'll bring that down around the side a little bit. And then again, I want to do the bow on this side. It's a little dab. Then we'll take R29. And we want to go right over the top of that E19. And then right where this little bow was, oh, let me grab my E19 again. I'm going to do a little bit on these little bows right here, on the knot. Give it a little dab of color. And then do that little dab with our R29. Then we're going to go with R24. Let's do this one. That, and then let's pull this side up here a little bit and along the bottom. And then I want to do a little bit on each of these bows. Then we're going to add R05. And then we're going to fill in the rest with our R22. Maybe a little dab back here. I don't know what it is with my R29, but it always makes my paper super shiny. And I've traded pens and I've refilled it, it just is messy. So let's give her a little bit of ground with C3 and C1. I'm going to start with C3, and let's go up past her shoe a little bit. And bring that out, and let's bring it over here to the other side, so kind of eyeball it. That, and then I want to go underneath of her shoes. And then I'm just going to brush away from that line that I laid down next to her shoe. I put that down so I don't accidentally color her shoe. That happens. And then I'm going to soften that with my C1. And then I'm going to go back with my C3 and add just a little bit more shadow back in. So there is our beautiful Pigtails all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? Love her. If you would like to see my finished card, head over to the store blog and view blog post for August 27th, 2016, and you can see what I did with this beauty and the finished card. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!